Hi everyone, welcome back to ASX Market Watch and charting signals around the world. This is where we look at your world economy from a chartist's point of view. We look at which way the charts are heading, and of course we believe that 3 out of 4 stocks will follow the overall market. So if we know which way the charts are heading, we know which way 3 out of 4 stocks might be heading as well. It's not rocket science, it's very simple stuff. The simple things in life are often the best. At least that's what I believe anyway. But guys, absolutely fantastic to have you here. And just as a side note, everyone, over the last 6 months and perhaps even longer, we have absolutely nailed every single call on ASX Market Watch. This is a phenomenal result, guys, and I just have to say it's absolutely fantastic. I love looking at the markets every week. I love checking out the markets with you guys. It's a great pastime and a fantastic way to spend a couple of minutes on your weekend. Having said that, let's jump straight into it, guys, because there's a little bit to cover. And we're going to look for some reversals this week as well. So, All Ordinaries Down Under. Probably about a month ago now, we called it a short-term downtrend. And what's happened since then? Well, you can see for yourself. The market has tanked. It's absolutely tanked. It remains in a short-term downtrend. We did call a bit of support here at 4,700, where that trend line is. And it did find support there, but we didn't call a new uptrend. And, you know, what has happened? The market has continued in that downtrend. So, really, not rocket science in any way, shape or form. So simple. And it's actually quite a beautiful thing, especially if you're not long stocks, and I hope you're not long stocks at this point. But yeah, having said that, really that's all there is to it. We'd be looking for a reversal point. The market would really have to close back above. And if I can just enlarge that a little bit, it'd really have to come back above that trend line. So we'd be looking at approximately 4,750 for the market to turn around. Until then, I would consider it in a downtrend. And yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not going long any stocks myself, and I would only be looking at shorting opportunities. And, you know, quite frankly, the best shorting opportunities are around the beginning of the trend right here. So, yeah, basically mid-May was really the most opportune time to begin shorting stocks, and in the weakest sector, which at the time was consumer discretionary. So, I mean, yeah, if you manage to get into Billabong, I think Harvey Norman, Myer, a lot of those stocks have absolutely tanked, and it's just been absolutely beautiful stuff. The next one is the Dow Jones, guys. Really simple. So simple. It's just a mere line on a chart. If I can find the right line, here it is, and shablam, that is our line on a chart. Anyone can draw a line on a chart, and what we were looking for was a reversal that happened around about here. That was using steeper trend line. Really simple, beautiful, bada bim, bada boom. There it is. That's our reversal signal right there. What's happened over the last 2 weeks? Well, it's tanked. It's absolutely tanked, just as the signal sort of said it would. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Over the last 6 months, we've absolutely nailed it. Guys, what we're looking for now is, you know, I mean, so simple, isn't it? Seriously, so simple. We've got this downtrend line, and so really what we're looking at on the Dow Jones in America, we've got the market would have to close above that, and that would be at about 12,400 there. So there we are. There's your sort of line in the sand. That would be an upward market from that point on. Until then, as far as I'm concerned, it remains in a downward trend. Next up, off the ranks, is the FTSE in Europe. Yes, Europe, beautiful Europe, and having a little bit of a struggle at the moment. Last week, we called our short-term downtrend right there, and what's happened over the last week? Yes, indeed, the market has continued to tank. Guys, there's a lot of support on the FTSE, obviously. We've got support at 5,600. There's a really big level of support there. But having said that, you know, all I can do is follow the trend, and the trend at this stage, we've got our short-term exit signal right there. So that's our exit signal, basically. That's our short-term downtrend signal. And yeah, for the market to be heading up again, I'd really want the market to be closing above this level back up here, and if I can just enlarge that for you a little bit, it'd really be about 5,900, so it's got quite a long way to go. Basically, it may continue in a sideways movement, but at this stage, it's in a short-term downtrend. So that's the FTSE, that's Europe for you there. Really, really, really simple stuff. Next, we've got the Shanghai Composite. Now, the Shanghai is a beautiful thing. It's a poetic thing. It's we've nailed every single call. Right there, a short-term uptrend. Right here, a short-term downtrend. Right here, another short-term downtrend. And last week, right here, we called if it broke out down below that, that would be another short-term downtrend. And what's happened? Well, you can see for yourself. It's broken out down below it, and now the market is starting to fall away again. So this is mighty China, and this is something that you and I really need to be aware of, because China is one of the things that's driving global growth at the moment, really. And so yeah, it pays to be aware of it. It's China is hanging by a thread, at least on the markets at the moment. The markets never lie, and that's the beauty of it. I mean, you could get all sorts of reports coming out of China. You can get all sorts of fundamental reports. You can get all sorts of news stories. But you and I know that the markets never lie. So this is the best part about it. We automatically know exactly what's happening. And quite frankly, the charts are not telling a pretty story, guys. I love this stuff so much. It's beautiful. Okay, what do we got next? That's pretty much Shanghai. That's the Shanghai Composite. That's China. We've got Hong Kong as well. Guys, last week we were talking about the short-term downtrend in the Hang Seng Index, in Hong Kong, sorry. And we had the short-term downtrend start around about here. We've had, moves in between, no new uptrends, so yeah, no dramas there in any way, shape or form, and we called it again last week, and since then the market has, yes indeed my friends, it has continued to tank. Here it goes. We're down to 21,695 at the moment on the Hang Seng Index in Hong Kong. And yeah, that's exactly what we said. Short-term downtrend. Happy days. No dramas. Too easy. And that's pretty much all we've got at the moment. If we were to look at support levels on the Hang Seng, guys, what could we do? We've got really levels of support. Probably the next one would be around 20,500. So yeah, and of course the round numbers in between, so 21,000 and 20,000 as well on the Hang Seng Index. Next up, we have the Nikkei. Now, the Nikkei, of course, probably, the beautiful story on the Nikkei is we called the short-term downtrend 3 days before the mighty crash on the Nikkei in Japan. Japan, man, they're having some tough times at the moment. We called a short-term uptrend right at the bottom, right here. And then, a couple of weeks later, we called a short-term downtrend right here. And that was 3 days before the recession was announced on the Nikkei in Japan. And again, that's why I'm saying that the chart tells the story, guys. Before the world will tell you the story, the chart will tell you the story. So get involved! Get involved! Charts are awesome! At least that's only my opinion. But I like them enough for everyone. And as you can see, guys, we've got the market has continued down. Yes, I'm sorry I'm a little bit crazy this morning, but we've been going pretty well. We've got this downtrend, basically really simple, still continuing in its downtrend. Not rocket science in any way, shape or form. And just as a side note, guys, we've got really heavy resistance at the psychological level of 10,000. It's a beautiful, big, fat, round number. People are going to find it very hard to get above that number. And yeah, just regular people like you and I, and also the bigger class of investors. And obviously that's rung true already because the market is still continuing downwards. So that's the Nikkei. Now, last but not least, I believe we have the Bombay Stock Exchange. Love the Bombay Stock Exchange. Over the last few months, gee, that's a big box. Okay, that'll do there. We've got a short-term uptrend back in late March. And yeah, so we called a medium-term uptrend there, but we also said that there'd be resistance around this level here. And the resistance won out, guys. The resistance definitely won out. And since then, the market has continued to fall. We called a short-term downtrend around about here. Have not called a new uptrend since. And what's happened? Yep, the market has continued to fall away. So you've got to be careful. You've got to really be mindful that you can get false moves in the market. I mean, people around this level start to get quite excited and they're like, yeah, the market's recovering. We're going to get back into it. Happy days. But then you have to realize that there are false moves, there are whipsaws, and there are, many things that people use to trap you in and out of trades. And that's exactly what's happened there, because the market has continued to fall away. Exactly, guys. And that, my friends, is the world from a chartist's point of view. Guys, I have to say that it's been an absolute pleasure checking out the markets with you. I love doing this stuff. I love having you here and having a quick chat about the markets. It's a fantastic pastime. Love your work as well. Drop by next week and we'll check it out again. Apart from that, I will see you then. Happy trending and bye for now.